Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Let's begin on our back in constructive rest, okay? That's where we'll start today. So bring your feet to the edges of the mat, knees knocking together. And you can rest the palms either on the belly, or you can bring the arms out to the side, palms facing up in a gesture of receptivity, whatever feels good for you. And just allow yourself to come into the space. Now, if it's possible for you to close the eyes, I do encourage that. It helps to cultivate that more internal relationship. Otherwise, you can simply soften the gaze, let the eyes soften in their sockets. And just note all the various parts of you making contact with the floor, with your mat. And when the mind wants to take you on a journey somewhere, keep redirecting your attention to the felt experience of your body here in space. So tethering your awareness to present moment awareness. So if any storylines are beginning to form and you recognize that that's happening, that's an opportunity to redirect to the feeling and felt sense of your body, as well as the breath and its maneuvering throughout the body, its circulation. And initially, when we come into our first shapes, there might be some resistance, but use the breath to soften any pockets of tension as you're discovering them. And note in this moment, how are you feeling on a physical, mental, emotional, perhaps energetic level? And know that there is no right or wrong response to that question. You're simply noting what is, seeing. So all you have to do is watch and see. There's nothing to fix or change. In order to change, we need to see what is first. So you have a clarity about your experience. And it's from that clarity that you can make choices. Let's all take before we begin to bring some movement in, now direct your awareness to your breath, what does the breath feel like in this moment? Notice its trajectory as it moves in and out of the body. Note the way it expands and contracts your form. Does it feel more full and expansive, or perhaps more contracted? Once again, no right or wrong. You're just simply noting what is. And then before we begin to move, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths to honor and seal the opening of our practice. So everyone, go ahead and breathe in through the nose. Open up the mouth, sigh it out. Twice more, just like that, breathing in and breathing out. Take 1 more breath in through the nose. And then exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Take your next breath in. As you exhale, gently sway the knees side to side, gently waking up the inner and outer hip, and the spine and the ribs. Bring in some gentle movement here. Take another breath in. And a breath out. So as you're breathing here, continue to feel and note the rise and fall of this breath along the spine. And you're trying to breathe in this multi-directional way. So you're expanding into the low back, watching that rise up into the sternum, into the upper back. You're feeling the spill into the ribs, the expansion there. And then you feel all of that emptying out each time you exhale. All right, next time you come through center, go ahead and call both knees into the heart. Give yourself a little squeeze here. And then with the legs together, just gently rock side to side, massaging out the low back here. Take a breath in, inflating the kidney band region of your spine. And then exhale, sigh it out the mouth. And then you'll slowly roll to one side and make your way up to a comfortable seat. Okay. Once you arrive, take your blanket, and we'll sit up on the very edge of that. Have your bolster out in front. We're going to take happy baby or butterfly. So bring the soles of the feet to touch and begin to splay the knees. Now, if the knees suspended in this way feels problematic or like a strain through the inner leg, you have two blocks you can use to slide under the knees. And then you have your bolster. I would place the handle away from you, and then you can fold that into yourself and rest the forehead on the edge of the bolster. Whatever feels right for you, choose a position that's suitable for you in this moment. For those joining in from home, you'll see me come in and out of the shapes, but you'll remain. I'm just trying to keep my eye on the people in the room, make sure everybody's okay, but I'll be your timekeeper, so no worries. So there are 3 tenets to this practice. I always like to remind everyone of that at the beginning of class. And the first tenet is to approximate a shape and find your edge. So as you come in, you're looking for that place where there's enough sensation, but not too much and not too little. So you want to feel something, but not have it so overpowering that you find it difficult to breathe, or you find that the thoughts are getting revved up or the emotions are getting revved up. So you're looking for that place of sustainability, or the Goldilocks principle, just right. And then the second tenet is to resolve to be still. So as you come into a shape, you might detect some resistance, but over time, you might fidget a little bit, and that's okay. But let any of those fidgets eventually bring you to stillness. And it's that magic coupling of time and stillness that allows us to reap the benefits of this practice. So the third tenet, after we resolve to be still, is to hold for time. And so for these shapes today, we'll hold from anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. And so you can, by knowing that, the time is finite, it's not going to be forever. We have this opportunity to sit with ourselves and to observe what is arising within us in the way of thoughts, emotions, what gets stirred up. Because as we're holding this for time, you might see things rising to the surface. And again, you want to observe and notice that without judgment. So a reminder that there's nothing to fix or change, nothing to push away. Just allow yourself to be. And through this practice, you're cultivating a sense of resiliency. You're increasing your capacity to bear, which translates into life off of the mat. So when the going gets tough, you've cultivated or helped to, or began to build a muscle that allows you to be in a place of responsibility versus reactivity. So continue to watch, continue to soften any tension as you're discovering it. The jaw, the eyes, for instance, wherever you happen to be feeling it. And a reminder that with each exhale, you have this opportunity to release and let go. So should you find any nagging kind of thoughts, see if you can let them go with each exhale, or aspects of it. right, everyone, take one more savoring breath in. As you exhale, the lower belly's toning in, begin to walk yourself upright, and then slide the hands to the outside of the knees, closing the legs like a book, and then separate the legs into a straddle fold. Make sure that you're, for those sitting up on the blanket, make sure you are sitting on the edge. This helps you to hinge forward at the hips. If you're sitting in the center, it's going to cause the back to round, defeating the purpose of being up on the bolster. So do slide yourself to the edge. And so we're going to come into a straddle fold or dragonfly, and we'll first fold over the left leg. Now, if you're feeling like your hamstrings are feeling tight today, just know that you can give yourself a hug. You can take your bolster and slide it up on top of this thigh and fold that way. You have blocks, you can set it up and bring the bolster on top of that. Set yourself up in a way. You can be as creative as you need to with these props, and find a position that works for you. Once again, you're looking for that place of sustainability, a place where you can breathe freely, comfortably, continuously. And notice if that right hip's kind of hovering away from the floor. Keep it grounded. Just allow the weight of the body to sink into the floor here, bit by bit. Notice if any tension crept into your jaw or eyes. Continue to find softness in these places. Continue to feel the fluctuating breath moving continuously in and out of the body here. Now, ready to take a breath in. As you exhale, for those of us who have the foot planted, go ahead and lengthen the leg. And we're going to bring this into a side bend. So you're going to, you can rest the elbow on top of a bolster, leaning the head into the hand. And then the right arm will extend over the ear. The elbow can bend. Just let it relax. You can relax the cheek into the hand here, the left hand. And just allow that arm to drape over the ear. We'll be here for a little less time. So you might feel a pretty significant tugging all the way from the low back or the side of the waist up into the ribs and the armpit. See if you can soften those areas that are feeling resistant. Release any muscular engagement. Allow yourself to sink in, surrender into the shape, softening bit by bit. Go ahead and take one more breath in. As you exhale, relax that arm back down and use the core to assist you back up to center. Now, as we come out of these shapes, you might detect some fragility or sensitivity, some tenderness. So just take a moment, as you're moving through these transitions, do take your time. And let's just take a breath in and a breath out. And then we'll take this to the other side. Do set yourself up. You might need something a little differently. You might fold the bolster over the top. You might take your blocks on either side and stack that on top. And then go ahead, fold forward. And allow that left hip to get heavy towards the floor. Go ahead and take another breath in. And as you exhale, you can turn this into a side bend, leaning your cheek into your hand, and then extend the opposite arm overhead, the elbows folding, and the arms just draping over the temple, over the ear. So even though the second tenet asks us to resolve to be still, there might be a few reasons why that might not be the case. And one of them being, should you ever feel any sharp, jagged electrical quality of sensation, just a reminder that there is nothing to force in our practice, whether we're in Yin or Vinyasa or any other forms. We want to allow the body to invite us in its own time. And in this particular form, you really want to soften any muscular engagement altogether. So you can really sink into the deeper inner tissues, the connective tissues, the tendons, ligaments, bones, the fascia, which is what we're targeting in this particular practice. All right, everyone, take one more breath in. As you exhale, you're releasing that arm out to the side. Press the temple up. Take your time. And then pause here for a breath in. And a breath out. And then move your props out of the way. We have one more fold, but we're going to take our hands, scoop the underside of the knees, and bring the legs together. Now, once again, we're going to fold in our caterpillar. Just know that you can always plant the feet and give yourself a little hug. You can separate a little bit. You can always take your bolster and rest your forehead. So choose something that works for you. You can fold this into yourself and cross your arms. Rest the forehead on the wrist. Whatever feels right for you. Choose something that, once again, is sustainable. Place where you can breathe freely. And just a reminder that with each exhale, can you soften a little bit more, incrementally, bit by bit. As you're discovering these pockets of tension, you're directing the breath into those areas and breathing life and expansion into those areas, collecting the tension and letting that go, releasing on your exhales. Continue to note the quality of your breath and the sensations that are arising within. Note if the mind's trying to take you on a journey or tell you a story about a particular sensation. Let all of that go and keep redirecting your attention, your breath, to your breath and the unfolding sensations within. All right, everyone, take one more breath in. As you exhale and ready to come out, pull the low belly in, slowly orient yourself upright. Do take your time, and we'll set that bolster out of the way or any other props. Lean back into your hands and plant a foot to each edge of the mat. And inhale, roll the shoulder heads up and away. And as you exhale, sway the legs side to side. Just take a couple rounds just like that. And then next time you pass through center, come onto all fours. Have your bolster handy just in case. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. Actually, my bad, I lied. We're going to actually come onto the back first. We're going to do a supported bridge, then we'll come into Sphinx. But have a block handy. And once you come onto the back, get those heels right underneath the knees here. Curl the tail and lift the pelvis away from the floor enough to slide a block underneath the sacral region of your spine. And then bring the palms can either be out to the sides, faced up, or you can rest them on the belly, whatever feels good for you. And just allow yourself to settle in. Notice if there's any resistance, a sense of hovering away from that block. And just take a breath in to the kidney band region. And exhale, sigh out the mouth. And keep feeling that breath moving along the spine, up and down. And you feel the hammock of the low belly expanding with each inhale. Continue to let the thoughts settle. Them pass like clouds on the horizon of your mind. Everyone, go ahead and take one more breath in. As you exhale, press your feet into the floor, feel the tail curling. Begin to gently lift yourself away from that bolster. Do take your time as you slowly allow the back to settle to the floor. Go ahead and knock the knees together for that constructive rest variation. And take a breath in, noticing the fluctuation of temperature in the low back. Whatever you happen to discover there, just note that for yourself. Go ahead and take another breath in. And then exhale, gently sway those legs side to side. They don't have to go very far. Just a gentle little rocking motion. And next time you pass through center, you'll once again roll to one side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. And then switch to all fours. Now, if you're feeling lower back sensitive, and you probably got an indication of that when you're on the block, you might consider bringing a bolster underneath the thigh, or the pelvis rather, and have a block out in front just in case you'd like it for under the skull. And so in your Sphinx, the elbows are stacked underneath the shoulders. However, if you discover that's too much, you can scoot them ahead a little bit. And you can go ahead and relax the forehead onto a block. Now, if you discover being in Sphinx doesn't feel right for you today, you can come into crocodile pose. You'll still have a back bend, and you can rest the forehead on the back of the hand or the wrist here. Just a reminder, with each exhale, we have this opportunity to soften and surrender. So continue to let go of any residual efforts in the mind, body, and heart. Continue to seek softness, surrender, that letting go. Notice if the bum is gripping unnecessarily. Try to soften there. Go ahead and take one more savoring breath in. As you exhale, you'll splay the elbows and stack one hand on top of the other, coming into crocodile. And you can switch the pelvis side to side or simply rest here, or even bend the knees, swaying the legs side to side, whatever feels right for you. Send the breath as you breathe into the lower back, into the kidney band region. As you exhale, relax the feet towards the ground. Begin to press down through the tops of the feet. Lengthen the tailbone. Bring the palms underneath the shoulders. Lift yourself up and back towards child's pose.
We'll be here for a minute approximately, so not too long. Just this little counter pose to help counter the extension of the spine that we were currently exploring. Coming back into that flexion. So as you're breathing here, you can feel the breath rising up and down your spine, feeling the sides of the waist expanding with each inhale. Go ahead and take one more juicy breath in. As you exhale, begin to rock yourself up towards tabletop. Take your time. And from here, we'll make our way back to the back. Have all the props handy. That's where we'll be for the rest of class. We're going to work with spinal twist. So set yourself up so that you're in that bridge prep. And then you'll curl the tail under, begin to lift the pelvis, bring it a couple inches to the right, and let's roll completely onto the left side. And as you inhale, you'll bring the knees together and then re-extend, opening up the arm. Now, the shoulder might be far away from the floor, so you can use a block for support. You can bring a bolster between the thighs. Whatever allows you to ground. And you can choose a position, whether it's a T, a goal post, or perhaps a diagonal reach, whatever feels right for you. Each have their merits. And notice that hip that's on the ground. Are you gripping there unnecessarily? Just find softness. And with each exhale, you can feel into this release incrementally, bit by bit, breath by breath.
All right, everyone take one more savoring breath in. As you exhale, use the core to gently bring you back through center. Orient that pelvis back to neutral. You'll pause for a breath in and a breath out. Noting the contrast side to side. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, you'll press your feet into the floor. Now bring your self to the left, the pelvis, and then you'll roll completely onto the right side. And as you inhale, open back up. If you need any padding between the knees, you have the bolster, the blanket. If your shoulder's suspended, you can ground and support with either one of those props. And everybody take a breath in through the nose. As you exhale, settle in as you sigh it out.
ahead and take one more breath in. As you're ready, exhale, come up and out of this shape. Orient the pelvis back to neutral. Take your time. Once you arrive in center, pause for a breath in and a breath out. Take another breath in and a breath out. So we have one more shape before we make our way into Shavasana, and that will be Happy Baby. You have a couple options. You can reach through the insides of the knees, grab the outer edges of the feet. Do know that we'll be here for a couple minutes, so you might consider grabbing the ankles or hugging down the tops of the thighs here. Choose something that works for you. Notice if the chin's jutting up towards the ceiling. Begin to lengthen that neck by slightly tucking that chin in. And note whatever sensations you are experiencing. You might notice a feeling of the temperature rising here. Whatever you're experiencing, use the breath to navigate, to continue to soften and release. And the breath might be slightly constricted here. Try to keep it flowing. And just a reminder, should you feel any sharp, jagged, electrical quality of sensation, then adjust. If you need to, lower the grip of your hands, do that. Breathe through the fire that's building in the inner leg and the groin space. Almost there, less than 30 seconds. Go ahead and take one more breath in. As you exhale, release all that grip. Bring the feet to the ground. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. You can slide that bolster underneath so the outer hips have some support. And just take a pause here. Rest the palms on the top of the groin space here. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then take your hands, scoop the outer knees, close the legs like a book one more time, and rest the knees together. Take a breath in and a breath out. When you're ready, you can go ahead and extend the legs for your final rest. If you are lower back sensitive, I do encourage you to take this bolster underneath the thighs. If you're feeling chilled, grab your blanket, drape it over the pelvis. Set yourself up in a way that allows you to release any residual effort in the mind, body, and heart. Shimmy the shoulders down away from the ears. Gently rock the head side to side, releasing any residual efforts in the neck. Let's all take a cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose. And then exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Shavasana.
Begin to awaken your breath. Begin to feel for some small movements in your fingertips and toes, giving them a gentle wiggle. If you felt inclined, you could extend the arms overhead for a full body stretch. As you do so, point and flex through the feet, spread through the fingers and palms and toes. Circle your ankles and wrists. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, relax those arms back towards the hips, slowly planting one foot followed by the other and roll onto any side. Once you land on your side in the fetal position, take another moment to scan from head to toe, noticing what has shifted. How are you feeling now on a physical, mental, emotional, energetic level? What has changed? What has shifted? Note too the quality of your breath. Note how that has changed and shifted as well. And while in the fetal position, you can consider that which you wish to leave behind versus that which you wish to move towards. And when you are ready, you'll bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Palms pressed in front of the heart, firstly, an acknowledgement of the efforts you made on your mat today. And secondly, those efforts you made while on your mat. Or the first effort is to come to your mat, right? And then the second effort is to be with sensation on the mat. And so it's important to acknowledge that. And if there's an intention you'd like to set for the rest of your afternoon, evening, or perhaps for the start of the week, single word or phrase, something to serve as a quiet reminder of what you cultivated here in practice. And whatever arose for you, we'll seal that in with 3 cleansing breaths as we honor and close our practice. So go ahead and breathe in through the nose. Open up the mouth, side out. Twice more, just like that, breathing in and breathing out. One more breath in. One more breath out. And when you're ready, float the palms into your lap and gently open your eyes. Thank you so much, everyone.